Hi, Karen with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a scrapbook layout for design team Kitaholic Kits, and I'm using the February 2023 kit for this one today. And my focus is really on the mixed media kit and, of course, those gorgeous patterned paper florals that we got in this month's kit. Oh, they're super pretty, aren't they? All right, so I'm thinking that I'm going to, even though it's really busy and that's where I'm sort of heading lately with my layouts, my background is going to be that floral patterned paper. So to be able to break that up, I'm going for a mixed media component. And in my stash, I have these craft tags. Now I have gessoed these with clear gesso, and all I'm doing here is just swiping over with the distress oxide that we got in our kit today. Now it does look quite red when I'm looking at this on the screen, but there is definitely a pink raspberry tone to this. I love this color. It's not normally something I would normally probably tend to drag towards, but this was perfect for where I headed with this layout today. So I also distressed the edges of these tags as well with my distress tool and sort of bent around and sort of made it a little bit sort of grungy too. Now to add to that, I'm just using my stencil, one of the stencils from the Vicky Booten stencil as well. I know that these stencils are a layering piece, but I decided to not use the layering component of each one and just use the main floral component. And I've just used my blending tool with some black Stays On ink. So I know it's not going to move anywhere if I possibly add any water to this in the future. At this stage, I was not at all planned around what I was doing for this layout. So I was sort of having a think about, well, will I add anything else? And so that's why I've used the Stays On there, so it keeps the tone there. What I also did when I put those layers on, I either pressed hard or then released a little bit of the pressure, so there's a little bit of fading around that as well. I wanted to add in a little bit of colour. I really wanted to make sure that these pieces were toned back quite well to the pattern paper that I'm going to have as the background. And I thought the yellow Distress Oxide was a perfect one for that. Now that is from my stash. That wasn't in this month's kit. And then I went, oh, it's going to be too busy sitting straight on top of that floral pattern paper. So I grab out a bit of black cardstock and cut that down. And this is going to be my template area for the component of the layout where I'm going to put the photo, etc. So that stamp that I'm using there is from my stash. And I've just popped in there some of the Distress Oxide, the one that we got in our mixed media, the lumberjack color. And then adding in some white splatters as well, just to make all that pop off the page. Now I did put the ink quite lightly as well in that. I just wanted that lovely stamp to actually just give a tone, a little bit of a presence on the page, but it's not very deep and dark. I also didn't use any gesso or anything like that on the black cardstock, and I love how that turned out. Although I am covering up quite a bit of it, I don't really care about that. It doesn't bother me. I know that underneath there is some goodness. And then I'm just having a play here with the craft pieces as to which direction I'm actually going to put this on the page for. And I stick them down with some staples just so I could move them all in one. So I'm definitely going for a very bold layout for this one today using the black and all that type of thing, but I really love how it allows then the photo to pop off the page. And I did something that I don't often do with my photo. I have backed it with just some plain cardstock as well. I often will back my photos with either tissue paper or patterned paper, but I really thought that it really needed a block to sort of sit up off that actual tag. And then to tone back in with the black cardstock that I've already used. I kept the embellishing to an absolute bare minimum because obviously this has turned into a very, very, I guess, busy and quite dimensional layout now that I'm sitting all of these tags up and the photo is also up on some cardboard as well. So I just added in just a few of the embellishment pieces from the embellishment pack. And then, so that gorgeous little butterfly, a couple of tags, one of the title pieces, and I added in that little tag at the top right-hand side as well. And I've also put on a couple of the enamel hearts in that gorgeous little pack that we got. And a little ode back to the yellow as well, just with that added little flower. I actually really love how this turned out. I guess it probably, to be honest, won't be for everybody because it is quite dark and a little bit sort of murky, I guess. That's probably not the right word, but I really love how this one turned out. Here are some close-ups for you as well. I will leave in the description box below all the information on how you can get these kits. Strongly encourage you to check that out. And as always, I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.